Hello and welcome to another edition of Ask Ron, where Ron answers our force of habit.
Yeah.
All right. Hello and welcome to Ask Ron, where Ron answers our Closers Club members' questions each and every week. I've got Ron here ready for us to answer a great lined up of questions. You ready?
I'm ready. You see me sitting on the beach. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. First up, we have Linda Williams out from Maryland.
Mhm.
She says, I have a lead that is brought to me. The seller is ready to sell her condo, which is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Mhm.
Her plan is to contact an agent. I want to reach out to her before she gets with an agent, and I want to market to her and decide on the best method. What would be, or does it matter, direct mail upon doing that? Then someone has to send the seller her mail due to seller living elsewhere. I thought of a ringless voicemail or just calling and letting her know I'm just marketing the area and would like to know if she's interested in selling. Prepare myself to get into your pre-screening script. So her question is, does it matter the person who brought her to me? The lead stated, you didn't hear it from me, but the seller is ready to sell her condo and plan to call an agent.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you're nowhere until you get a hold of the owner and fill out the property information sheet. That's always the first step. Most of them are going to lead to a dead end because, terms is not for everyone, and we know that. So you're going to have to find out where she lives. Now, if you got the Closers Club, which obviously you do, you can do a skip trace on her on that, and that'll give you the information on her phone numbers and where she's living now and her email address and the whole works. Just pick up the phone and call her. That's all you got to do. Pick up the phone and call her after you get her phone number. Now, if you can't reach her on the phone, uh, I'd send her a letter, but make sure you put on the letter forwarding address required, and the post office will tell you where she's at. It'll cost you about, I don't know what it costs today, maybe 75 cents for them to do that. So you got to get a hold of her. She might be chasing a dead horse. It might not even be for sale. And you don't know any of that till you talk to her. So there's no sense trying to figure out how to buy the house until you get her on the telephone and see if she wants to sell the house. And then you use my script if she wants to sell. So you get a PI sheet on it. You're going to have to do it yourself if you're going to chase her and get her on the phone, most likely. And then you just use my closing script right on down the line while you're talking, and you don't have to try to chase her back and get her to pick up the telephone. So if you get her phone number, and you should, she don't answer, the next thing you should do is text her because you'll get the phone number, tell her you're interested in the house, like you said, and you keep after it until you get her on the telephone. Tell her interested in buying her house, not just interested in the house. Sounds like a realtor, unless you tell her you're interested in buying. I think that answered it, Jesse, didn't it?
Oh, you did.
Okay.
It's great advice. Next up, we have Baleigh Nicholson from North Carolina.
Hmm.
Hello, I am located in North Carolina, and I just want to verify that a terms deals and seller financing will work with mobile homes. It does have a brick foundation, but do I need to verify if it is considered real estate property with the DMV?
Well, okay, it's probably real estate if it's got a brick foundation, but I don't know why that matters until you talk to the seller. What difference does it make? All right. It's easy enough to check out. Uh, if they call it real estate, it'd be on public records as real estate. But what, why are we guessing? Why don't you just get a hold of of the owner and find out if they want to sell first? What you guys are doing is everything you can do except what you got to do, and that's get the seller on the telephone. Everything else you're doing is a waste of energy until you do. And will terms work on mobile homes? If it's a real estate type, it'll work just like real estate. It'll have a legal description. If it's not, and it's personal property, you can still sell it as personal property, but not with real estate rules or real estate financing or any of that. So first step, we get the seller on the phone, find out what she says is classified as. If there's a sticker, if it's personal property, there'll be a sticker on it, very similar to your tag on your car, and that comes every year. But if it's real estate, it wouldn't have that sticker. If it's real estate, it's paying real estate taxes. If it's not, there's probably, I don't know, in North Carolina, there's a fee every year for mobile homes anyway. There are here. A little bit of research will help you with that. But again, it's worthless until you get a hold of the seller. You might be changing all this information on a property that's not even for sale. Seller first. Always get a hold of the seller and get a PI sheet first. All right.
Right. All right. Next up, we have Phil Salazar from Texas. Sounds like he has a pretty interesting deal on his hands. He
Okay.
says, I'm looking at a small 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,300 square foot house.
Mhm.
It used to be a duplex. Seller had it listed for 215K. He owes 186K.
Mhm.
PITI is 1890 with 6.99 interest rate. 28 years left on the underlying loan. Seller will sell for what he owes. It is
Okay.
current on his payments, no work needed, turnkey condition. But it didn't sell after 8 months on the market, and he didn't get any feedback from the agents who showed it to potential buyers.
Uh-huh.
It's located in Margaritaville, which is a Texas community north of Houston. There's a golf course and other amenities. HOA is decent, which is $600 a year. My initial idea is to purchase it on a wrap and sell it in a wrap, and is looking to buy other properties in the future otherwise. I would have offered to buy it subject to if it were listed for 215K and didn't sell for the higher interest for 28 more years. So his question is, can I offer to sell it for 229 on an 8.9 rate for 28 years? And what other additional strategies are open?
The first thing you got to do is get control of it, and that's just to purchase and sale agreement for some price. But she said she'd sell for what she owes. I mean, that should be an easy one. Just go get a contract on it and close on it, especially in Texas, Bill. Closing costs are almost nothing out there. So, you live in a good state. You even got a good governor out there. So, this is a real easy deal for you. But you need to put it under contract to buy it. And then you didn't tell me whether it was vacant or occupied. Hopefully it's vacant because it's a whole lot easier to sell when it's vacant. So that's something you might want to fill in the blank on next time. But just go put it under contract. And then you got, yeah, 30 days to close, and that's 30 days after they're out actually. So I wished I knew vacant or occupied, but let's assume it's occupied. So you need to close on it at, and they got to get out either before you close on closing day. Then you own the property. Then you can take your time finding the right buyer. And remember, I don't start making payments till about the third month after I buy the property. So don't forget that clause. I assume you have that clause. If you don't, you can email us. Actually, I don't know if it's on the Closers Club or not, to be honest with you. Uh,
Take note of that and check
huh?
out.
Yeah, make note, find out if the scripts are actually on the Closers Club yet, because we're transferring a lot of information from Gold Club to the Closers Club, and I got to do it a piece at a time. So I need to make sure that they're on there.
Just the due on sales clause.
No, that's find out if the I don't know what did I just say. I'm lost track here today.
There was one of the scripts. I'll
Yeah.
I'll look into it.
It's an easy deal. Just go get it under contract. Wow. And make sure she's out when you get it. Then you can immediately put it on the market. And the reason it didn't sell is because they didn't offer terms. You're offering terms, for crying out loud. That's why all of them sell that we buy. We get terms or we don't get the deal. She's blatantly handing you the property. So uh, take it. Go out there and get it under contract. 30 days to close. after she's out of the property. So then it's up to her to get out. Your payment will begin on the 5th of the latter of the third month after she's out, or closing, third month after closing, or property vacated, I guess is the right language. So doesn't mean you can't. If she's going to be in the property a while, you can, obviously you could show it, but it's only with her permission. And I just don't like putting the seller together with potential buyers, to tell you the truth. I'd rather she get out before I try to do anything. I'd rather show it vacant. So go get the contract on it, man. Get it under contract and worry about all that other stuff later. First thing you got to do is get a title search on it after you get under contract. Now, once that happens, you can start putting it on the market. And now you got 3 months to put somebody in the property. And I promise you, it won't take 3 months to do a lease purchase on the house. Losing my voice here today. Can't talk, Jesse.
You got some honey tea over there?
Yeah, but day goes on, the worse it gets. I mean, where would I be if I can't talk, for crying out loud? It's what I do.
All right. Our last question for this week is from no other than Tony and Angie Stewart from Ohio.
Oh, yeah, I miss them.
I do too. Tony and Angie, you should come see us soon
Yeah, they always sit in the front row.
and have the greatest question. So their question this week is, LeBron, do you envision AI becoming the front end of dream system? For example, an AI receptionist answering calls 24/7, qualifying sellers, gathering property information, scheduling appointments, and automatically creating records in dreams before a team member ever gets involved. Is that a direction you see adding value, or do you believe the human touch is still essential from the first conversation?
Tony, um, let me see how I can put this kindly and gently. The answer is AI does a lot of stuff. Dreams is already loaded with AI. It does all the most of the things that dreams do, but there's always going to need to be a human involved. The AI is not going to go knock on the door. It's not going to do a lot of the things that we do. It can do some of the things we do, but in my case, I don't care because that's not the stuff I worry about. You need to focus on getting a contract on the seller, thinking about all that junk. And if it comes out, it probably will be added. If we don't have anything to do with adding it to dreams. We don't own dreams. We don't get we're not partners with dreams. They don't send us checks every month, so I can't tell you them what to do. Even though they've developed a system just for my students. Um, I, I don't know what's going to happen with that stuff in the future. I imagine we'll pick it up as we can because the Dreams is coordinated toward investors. So uh, my biggest question is, why do you care? Just go get some contracts on houses, man. Got you plenty of tools to work with right now. You got plenty of new stuff to figure out right now. The only thing that counts is contracts on houses.
That's right.
That
That was a great answer, Ron.
was kind of grouchy, wasn't
I was honest, and
it?
that's
Tony
why
can take
everyone loves you.
it. Yeah. It's easy to get focused on the wrong things, folks. I'm talking to all of you. It's very easy to get off track and pulled in multiple different directions at once, trying to do all kinds of stuff when the reality is, if you want to make money, you better doing everything you can to get sellers to call you and you chase them. I'm telling you, nothing else matters. Nothing. No matter what you see or buy or videos you watch, if you don't get sellers calling you, you don't have a business. Put as much focus in that as you do in the internet searching for stuff that you'll never use. Go buy houses because that's how you get paid.
That's right.
That makes a case for, I bet you if I had all this crap when I got started in 1982, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd probably be playing with it too. I remember I got my first fax machine in 1985. That was cool, man. That was neat. But it cost $3,000 for my first fax machine. It was rolled paper, and I didn't have anybody to fax. So I went to my title company and showed them, and they got a fax machine. So we went back and forth on the fax machine. But man, we thought that was the best thing on earth. And I got a radio car phone back then. That cost $3,000 as well. And it was, I could hear other people on the telephone. It wasn't a cell phone, it was a radio car phone. And I was always, as soon as I got I got a Macintosh computer, but at that time as well, I got on there and that thing would do spreadsheets and all kinds of cool stuff. At that time, it was the neatest thing. Today, it's all worthless. Okay, you got more power in your telephone today than I had and everything that I had back there. So
Sure.
I didn't get caught up in trying to spend my life on the internet back then. But actually, I didn't have it till I think I started in about 1985, as I recall, maybe earlier, but I didn't get involved in it till then. So we can easily focus on everything to keep us busy, to make us feel like we're moving forward, what you got to guard against. Because if you're not doing everything you know how to do to generate leads, you're just wasting your energy and wasting your time in most cases. But the internet is a great research vehicle, but it doesn't buy houses for you. Make offers, make deals, get leads, call sellers, get contracts, close, get money. That's our whole business in one sentence.
That's right.
All right. Any more?
That was our very last question for this week.
Okay. Well, with that said, thanks you all for tuning in this week. Go out and get some kind of properties under contract between now and next week, and we'll chat about it. And you're welcome to bring. That's my guard dog out there. You're welcome to bring leads here. You don't have to even send them. You can get on here when we're doing this and give me the numbers on them, and I can quickly tell you what to do with them at that point. And we got a lot of calls. We got the Thursday 2 p.m. Yeah, you know them better than I do, Jesse. I just did one for Adel. Adel is down in the Bahamas right now over the weekend. Uh, so, he's out of touch. He won't even answer his text right now. That turkey, wait till I see him. All right. I'll see you guys next week.
Right. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.